Hi, thanks for joining me for another episode of It Happened in Coppell, the podcast devoted to Coppell history and Coppell stories. I wanted to do something a little bit different this week. With the events of the last week in Dallas, the shooting of the police officers, I wanted to do something to honor police officers who have served our community. And so I know I don't typically read for this podcast, but I wanted to read two entrances in my book, Legendary Locals of Coppell, about the fallen officers monument that's at the Coppell Justice Center. And the first one is about Officer Michael Johns. In 2009, the Coppell Police Department began a motorcycle rodeo with the goal of raising money for a memorial wall that would honor Coppell's fallen officers. In the history of the department, only 2 officers have been killed while serving. Originally from California, Michael Johns graduated from high school in Duncanville before pursuing his dream of becoming a police officer. Johns served for 2 years in Plano and 9 in DeSoto before joining the Coppell Police Department, where he served for 10 years. On December 28, 2001, Johns was attempting to stop a speeding vehicle when another vehicle collided with his motorcycle. John died of injury shortly after. The department's rodeo was a success, resulting in the 2010 dedication of the Coppell Fallen Officer Memorial. This is a picture of Officer Johns. The Coppell Fallen Officers Memorial sits just outside the entrance to the Coppell Justice Center on Town Center Boulevard. It's a simple monument of brick and concrete and only bears 2 names, Officer Don Swearingin and Officer Michael Johns. Beneath these names are engraved the letters EOW, an abbreviation of the phrase end of watch, a poetic and haunting reference to their deaths while on duty. For Donald Swearingin, end of watch came on December 12, 1972. Swearingin was in pursuit of a speeding vehicle when he hit a patch of ice on the Denton Tap Bridge. His vehicle struck a tree, and the young officer died of his injuries. He was 20 years old. Swearingin joined the Coppell Police a short 8 months prior, after serving for a year in his hometown of Weatherford. From April to June of 1972, he was Coppell's only officer. Locals called Swearingin Big Don. He worked with local youth to prevent drug use and was commended in May for arresting a suspect linked to 6 Dallas area murders. The Irving Daily News ran a story of the community in mourning after Swearingin's death. Resident Art DeLong remembered that Swearingin frequented his store, and the two often joked about the startling quantity of microwave dinners that Swearingin consumed. On December 19th, 7 days after Swearingin's death, Mayor Hewlin Scott and the Coppell City Council made a resolution honoring Officer Swearingin and funding his funeral expenses. Coppell's history, like any town's, is built from people like Swearingin, who dedicate their life to the service of their community and country. In many ways, the soldiers, police officers, and firefighters make up the beating heart at the center of the community. Their stories help make all other stories possible. For July 11th, I'm Sean Jex, and that's how it happened in Coppell.